Like, think about your marriage, your relationship right now. And if you were to take all of the past, everything, and truly let it go, just burn that shit down. And now you were able to create from a blank slate with this person that you decided to spend your life with, what your life looks like, what your relationship looks like, how you communicate, how you are intimate together, the passion, the ideas, the places. Like, think about the potential that you have.
Hi, I'm Dave Tina.
And I'm Angie Tina.
Welcome to the 10-Year Marriage Podcast.
On this podcast, we answer the question, what if your marriage came with a 10-year contract?
How would you show up if there was a deadline in your relationship? What would your life look like in the future? And how would you recommit every day?
Come with us on this journey as we navigate as partners, entrepreneurs, and parents in this big life we've created.
You know, we're almost 30 episodes in now. I think it's always smart or just kind of fun to remind ourselves why we did this in the first place. As cool as it is and how we want to help and have impact, we are living a real relationship while we are in this position of sharing it with the entire world and hopefully leading it. We started it. I think we put kind of a deadline on let's get moving on this because we're approaching our 15-year anniversary. And on our 5-year anniversary is when we
Came
found
up
out.
with this concept, yeah.
So we've kind of lived this 10-year contract, even though we're in our 15th year. It's been 10 years since we've thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are due to go through with it.
We need to either re-up or whatever you don't re-up. What's the word I'm looking for? You either
Divorce?
re-up. Yes, but when you don't renew a contract.
Yeah, and talking about all of these topics are great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe it helps our marriage and it helps the way we communicate with each other, which a lot of people's feedback to this podcast has been, it has helped me talk to my significant other. We've listened to it together.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked about things that we didn't even know we were in agreement with or not agreement with.
It's also just, I've had a lot of feedback on giving people the permission to even have these conversations because, you know, when we're growing up, we're not taught to have these conversations in relationships, right? In fact, some of us were taught the exact opposite. And so I think it's really powerful that people are listening to them solo, they're listening to them together. And where that will lead, we don't know, but that's why we've kind of come up with this process.
So the next step is actually going through this process.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of cool because it's like life imitating art. I always kind of say that. It's like while you're actually explaining it, you're doing it. And there's been also feedback like, do you have, I don't know, a book or do you have a course or do you have any resource that we can actually take on? And I was like, that really wasn't our intent starting out, but we're in a way creating this
experience
operating system on how to do this.
Yep.
Rather than just burn it all down, write a new contract, and then live it.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing step by step that works for us that then we can share for other people?
Totally. And even as we're creating this, like I was thinking about it last night and I was like, we're creating this thing and there is so much that goes into it. And I was like, wow, this is a lot of energy. This is a lot of input. But these are the most important relationships of your life. And if you're going to spend your entire life with that person, I mean, as I was reflecting, I was like, shit, I would sit there and do this for business all day long, but we've never really done this for our marriage. Like, how much more important is that than to put all this effort and energy into these other things? Like, we're going to create this system and this process that's going to lead people to complete awakenings, whether it's, regardless of what side it ends up on, but it's such an important relationship.
I'll go one step further. I've seen this reel or meme or quote, the single greatest, most important decision you'll make in your life is the person you choose to share it with.
Yep. 1,000%.
And so, yeah, it's an inner game. It's an inside job, of course, but it's a relationship life that you share with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we truly believe, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Show me who you choose to spend your life with.
Yep.
And I'll show you
and what
your
you're willing
future.
to compromise on, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how you're willing to show up for that other person. Like there's so much that goes into it. And it's either going to light you up or it's going to slowly kill you inside.
Yeah. And it's not a one-time decision.
Right. That's the whole point, right, of the 10-year marriage is re-upping every time.
So let's take us, for example, because some people are going to actually be like, okay, things aren't great. And in some ways, you got nothing to lose when things aren't great. I tell people in business all the time, it's easier to make decisions when shit's going south because you're really in a position of nothing to lose. We talked about, I think, that last week, like, change it up.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really strong marriage. And we're still willing to burn it to the ground.
Yeah. And, as we're coming up with this first step in this entire process, which we'll talk more about in this episode.
Maybe we won't make it through the first phase.
Well, no, but it's wild because some of the questions that we're going to have people answer ourselves very vulnerably in front of an audience, it's shit that can get real quick.
I agree.
Right? It's like, what do I resent you for? It's what have I never told you because I'm scared of how you'll react. Like these are real serious things that
once they come out of the box, can't put them back in.
And so I think it's going to be very interesting, but I feel like in a lot of ways, if you are having a hard time in your relationship, it's that kind of thing. It's like, what do you got to lose?
Do you already have something in mind?
No, I don't.
I'm curious.
I'd have to meditate on this because I'd want it to be really intentional and not just how I say it, but I would want like the truth to be uncovered, right? Because surface level, I'd be like, oh, I resent you for staying on your phone while the kids are screaming and I got to go put them to bed. Yeah, that's not deep, right? That's not, do I resent you? No, I want to just like punch you for it, but I don't resent you for it. Like I'm talking about like my soul is desiring this, or this is what I'm not getting in this relationship, or this is where I wish you would show up.
So this is a beautiful segue to bring this in. Because this is the way we're doing it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be inviting you to not only come along for the journey and the ride, but to participate. You could do it on your own, but there will be an opportunity to actually do this with us. But as every great coach, leader, and mentor should be saying and should be doing is, unless you're willing to do it yourself.
Yeah, you should not be teaching it.
No. We both started working on this. So just even putting this together, the agreement is, and we're only going to be talking about this first phase, which is kind of bringing you into the darkness first.
Yep. Some shadow work.
I believe like growth is an identity shift. And depending upon what part of my life and how I looked at it, I thought it was a sacrifice or a becoming. And more, as I'm getting more wisdom around this, I feel like it's a return. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a stripping away all the things we have built on top of our most pure, divine, bright, shining, flow state version of us, how we came out, right?
Yep.
There's a grieving process with every single death. And I believe there's 7 stages of grief is like 7 stages of transformation, 7 stages of change, 7 stages of death. I mean, you have denial, anger, acceptance is the last one. There's negotiation. There's so many paths along the way that you kind of have to go. There's appreciation, right? Because a part of you is dying and on purpose.
Right.
And it has to die.
Yep.
Right? We've talked about this.
Yep.
So would you be willing, like, to really, like, one of these was, would you burn our wedding album? Would you go that far?
Fuck. No, because that was still the best day ever. But no.
But there's some of these
powerful.
challenges. It's like I'd never look at the wedding album. Like the harder thing for me would be the video. Mm-hmm. It's in my mind, but I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
Neither are you.
Totally. And I don't think it's necessarily about even burning those things. I think it's burning the idea of who we were in those moments, right? And so like when I'm kind of
No, we must have a sacrifice. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and we may, but
I'm just joking with you.
But I think it's more about like it's really the uncovering, I think. It's like an autopsy, right? Is what we were talking about, like an autopsy or what'd you say? when people die. What's the obituary?
Okay. Yep.
It's in that world, right? It's like, what are we willing to like sacrifice back, right? Give back to the universe, give back to whatever, appreciate it for what it was, spill all the truth, spill all of the things that we need to, but then like physically burn this shit, right? Whether it's journal prompting that we're talking about and we're having these conversations with each other, or letters to each other that we need to write, or maybe it's not even something that we share, but that, this idea that I solely had as what our marriage was, and now I'm giving it back so that I can like become anew, right? So there's so many different ways we're going to go about this in this phase 1, and it may change, but that's the exciting thing, is that we're going to do it first, and we're going to lead people on this journey, and then see what happens.
So let's give a little. These are the things that we're actually. It's almost like we're masochists here, right? It's like so many. This is why people don't grow, because they're not willing to put in the work and go through the darkness. Like, write individual obituaries for your current marriage. We can mourn it honestly. What died? What was never born? What deserves gratitude? Right? And then you got to do the solo work.
Yeah.
Right? What are my unspoken resentments, needs, and truths?
Yes.
Right? On the surface, it's easy to be like, well, I don't really have that many needs. Whoa. Have you just buried it for so long?
Or are you just so afraid on it crumbling because you voiced it, right?
Yep. And then, so it's one thing to do that work on your own and have a truth conversation with yourself. Whole nother one to share them.
And I think part of it is really being intentional on how we get to that place, right? Because if we're just sitting there and, our kids are running around and we're still in these roles that we play every day, it's going to be a lot different of what we come up with than if we're in like ceremony.
This has to be
like
an
a sacred
experience
space.
just with us.
Exactly.
Yes. And so then it's burning the letters together, right? And letting it physically go. And, this is such a beautiful experience, because even when you're changing yourself, it can get confusing on what you want to bring forward and what you want to leave in the past, because it's like the minute you start looking in the past, it gets blurry. It's like, well, I liked all of these things and that's who I want to bring with me, but I don't want to bring that other part. Like, that's done.
Right.
And so burning it all away and then rebuilding it, because then, like, as you're rebuilding it, sure, there's going to be parts of it that
come forward.
Exactly. But not from the past, from the now.
Right.
Crazy. Okay. So then it's the mirrors, right? And so the mirrors is an accountability game, because it's so easy to be like, what are my resentments? Resentment is nothing but premeditated expectations, unmet.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they're going to be. Because if you have a premeditated expectation, you're already setting everyone up for that failure, and you're going to resent somebody for the rules you made to the game.
Yeah.
So
just the personal aspect of this alone, right? Like going into these ceremonies, right? This phase 1, burning it to the ground. Phase 1. We're going into it, and not only do you have to like have the courage and have the ability to speak truth in a time where maybe you haven't spoken truth for a very long time, or maybe you do, but there's still very, very deep underlying stuff. Not only do you have to do that, but you also have to be in a position to take it, right? And not to let it like break you, right? Like as you were saying that, I'm like, fuck, what if all the things he says like truly breaks my heart, because I already
know, like, first of all, and I don't want to, like, I know me, and this is something that you have to have some self-awareness here. Even with my staff and with everybody, I inevitably bring it all the way back to me. Yeah. I take all the blame.
Right.
I'm going to have to be careful that I don't just play this self-flagellation game. I'm just whipping myself through the entire thing.
Right. Yeah,
right.
Totally. It's going to have to be a very cohesive, very, both parties participating.
And I got to look at it like, shit, if I had everything on lock, and I've had moments and periods of time where I have, and I wasn't getting things from you. And at some point I was weaponizing it. Like, well, shit, I got all 4 areas. Where are you? Right. Weaponizing it is a mistake.
Right.
But I have to look at it like, okay, I got my shit together. Where now am my needs not being met?
Yep.
where I'd love to see, because that's the way you got to look at it, right?
100%. And you have to look at it as like both parties have to fully be ready to do this, because otherwise it's going to feel like an attack on one side.
And so that's week 2, right? Like, identify and confess the shadow roles you've played. Have you been the victim, the controller, the martyr, the avoider? That's personal accountability.
Yep.
I could just give an example. You may be upset you haven't swam. What the fuck?
Like swimming?
You haven't
Swam.
swam?
Are we talking about water?
What do you want to do in one of your dreams?
Swimming.
Swimming with what?
Oh, whales. I want to swim with whales.
In Topanga, some crazy place,
Fiji.
Right? Fiji. Like, you could easily, this is a great little example. You could easily be like, that's my fault. Well, you know, he may not want to be on the boat. He may not want to be in this situation. That's easy. That's an external.
Right.
Versus like, why haven't I done it?
Yeah, and this is something that's important to me. Mm-hmm.
So then it goes down to like, you can go into some work where like, you know, what am I most triggered by you? What part of me am I avoiding? You know, name each other's common defenses lovingly. Again, you got to be in the right space.
Yep.
And then maybe like do a personality test, like an Enneagram, to really understand why we are the way we are. Now, I feel like I know you better than you know yourself sometimes, and vice versa. So again, this is great.
Yeah. And I think that, so now we have like, you know, what needs are not being met by the other person, what needs to be, how are you showing up? But then there's also this like couples thing, right? Like it has to also go there. Like, what in your relationship needs to die as like a couple, as a pair? Like, what habits or rituals are you doing that aren't serving you as a couple, right? And maybe what are things that you need to add? And that is, I think, part of this really looking at it on all 3 levels, right? You have it's the channels that we're learning in equine therapy. It's like, what's happening in you,
me,
what's happening in the other person,
me,
and then
you,
what's happening
us.
in us.
Yeah.
Right. And really being honest about all 3 so that you can fully get there.
One of the most powerful parts of this is the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Because planning phases without execution, it was like, well, this is like, I'd like to, but without the actual physical burning and burying, and you can't really move forward because now there's no deadline on this.
Yeah.
And once you open that Pandora's box, this is like a full disclaimer here. Like, you'd almost be better off not, if you're not going to do anything about it, even though I don't truly believe that.
Right.
But like, the minute you start, like we've talked about this before, like with the parasites, the minute you start moving shit around,
yeah,
you better
be ready to
do something with it.
Exactly.
Right? Because you've named it and identified it, you've killed it, and you're also killing like the great parts. So now, before you turn around and build that new contract from a place of complete openness and brand newness,
right,
you got to kill it the whole way.
Right.
Because if you don't kill it the whole way, then you have this new future that is contaminated with remnants of the past.
Right. And the people are always going to be thinking of all those words that were just spoken, or all of those situations that just came up that are now sitting on the surface. And if you don't fully let go of that shit and move on to the next phase, it's a recipe for disaster.
And, you know, we're figuring this out, kind of like, we got to do this work, but we're doing it a little bit right now, which is kind of cool in the moment while we're talking about it.
It's a pregame.
The what?
The pregame.
Pregame.
We're pregaming it into the,
So I didn't say this because you've always done this in the past, or you would never go for this, or you.
Yeah, how do you even know?
You can't say that anymore.
Right.
Well, she won't like this sexually, or if I do this, or this vacation won't work, or we can't parent this way, or we can't live in this place, or we can't, like, if we're taking all of the past ways we've handled it or our actions, then we're letting it, and that happens with us. Like, I don't think I've brought this up. There's this game or this thought experiment, I think it was Matt Hussey, where it was like, if you woke up today and you had no memory of the past, and all you knew is like, all right, this is my wife.
Yep.
This is my life. These are my kids. This is the money I have, right? And you didn't have this like failures and successes of the past, just unbridled optimism. how would you live your life?
Yeah. It's basically taking the box, burning the fucking box, and now there is no box.
But
So now-
truly no box.
Yeah, but now now you're starting from the very beginning. I mean, how fucking exciting is that?
Well, I don't know if you feel comfortable with this, but I did something to you the other night, and I did it a little bit differently. It was fucking amazing, and I just tried something completely different.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
Yeah, and I was
Right.
like, put that on the list of things I like. Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was doing.
I don't
I know
either.
I just hit fucking pay dirt, and I was like, keep doing this, right?
Yes.
But if I wasn't willing, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it this way, and I've done it
Same,
this way
yeah.
for 15 years, like,
Yeah.
right?
And think about the possibilities, right? Like our viewers, our listeners, like think about your marriage, your relationship right now. And if you were to take all of the past, everything, and truly let it go, just burn that shit down, like fucking let it go. And now you were able to create from a blank slate with this person that you decided to spend your life with, what your life looks like, what your relationship looks like, how you communicate, how you are intimate together, the passion, the ideas, the places. Like, think about the potential that you have.
I mean, I'm getting into it right now. Like, to think like I've never had sex with this girl before. I've never gone on a date with this girl before.
Yeah.
I've never gone on a vacation. Like,
Maybe that should be part of our experience.
like
is
all
like
of these-
actually going on a date
But-
again
but
as like a new
you need to
couple.
be excited about this new contract. You need
Yeah.
to be excited about marrying this human being, right? You need to, because if not, it's like, oh, it's the same shit, same thing, same everything. Like, the light's gonna go out, the music's gonna go on. If she's wearing that thing, we're gonna have sex, and it's gonna be like that's.
Well, so that makes me think.
Of course, I always bring it back to sex, but
Exactly.
like, it's so much deeper than that, right? It's the same business, it's the same way, same vacations. I'm not shitting on people who go to the same place every year,
Right.
but like, even
But could you show up there differently?
listen, your brain starts dying if you
Yeah.
if you keep doing, like they say, like to not get Alzheimer's and to keep being is start doing different shit. Joe Dispenza talks about this all the time.
Yeah. And so I think, did you ever say what the 3 steps are? Like,
Yeah.
Like the step 1 is
Burn it down,
Mhm.
make the contract, integrate it, and live it.
Perfect. I
Right?
love that. Yes. And like you were talking about how you got to be excited about. I mean, that's why this is going to be such a sacred experience, is because you're burning it all down. And and we talked about this last night, there's going to be a lot of situations where the contract isn't going to be renewed.
That's going to be very interesting.
Right?
Very interesting.
And
And,
so
and that could be
part
the
of-
best thing ever.
100% for both parties, right?
Yes.
And part of this experience that we're going to lead people through, this method, is how to end it in grace, right? Like if you're burning it down and there is nothing else to rebuild, like, okay, now what is the process? It's just like when we had Mark Groves on, right? And him and Kai did that. And
It was super impactful. And they were
Yeah.
very aware at a young age that they needed to do that, right?
Yeah.
Because their courtship was fucking with their future.
Yep.
And the shit that they dealt with in the past, which is every single one of us. Our biggest threat in my mind is comfort,
1,000%.
right? Like comfort of like, wow, maybe there's an arrival, maybe we've made it. Are we willing to put our chips on the table again? And that comfort, whereas right now feels like it's
Mm-hmm.
the thing that's so important to everybody, which everyone's chasing down. I mean, Gary Brecka says, like, aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. That comfort can become our prison very quickly. Our resentment to each other, our resentment to ourselves. And all of a sudden, the thing that we were chasing down and unwilling to break it again, die again, becomes the thing that we were avoiding in the first place and kills us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Kills the relationship.
Yeah, because how many times I've thought about it 1,000 times. I mean, I think my like feelings of you like change with my cycle. Like I really do. I think there's something to it, like a woman's cycle on how her emotions change. But as we're talking about this, like I'm falling in love with you a different way because I'm going, oh shit, like there's potential we haven't tapped, and we've been so comfortable because we have a good marriage, right? We're good at this, and we have a good partnership. We have a pretty good routine on how we interact with each other, how we communicate with each other. But like there is so much more that we haven't even like
Touched.
not even touched, but we haven't even like, it's not even in our atmosphere. Like we don't even know it exists yet. And so like as you're talking about it and like thinking about like letting all this go and like into these new people, like you are such a different person than when I met you. Like complete fucking night and day. And it's like I get to be married to that guy. I don't have to be married to that other guy. You know what I mean? Like that's exciting shit.
Some people may be going, oh, well, what a convenient problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that if you're fighting and you're having a hard time right now, you may be on the precipice of breaking through and having the relationship you've wanted this entire time.
Yep.
And you've been putting on all the work and you've been willing to collide with each other, and it's been hard and you've been in the fucking dark for so long that this divorce is just the final, like this burning it to the ground, this ending of this part is just the final thing before you give yourself the permission to get the fruit of all that work you put in on the other side. And this is the last thing to reframe, like, holy shit, why is this so fucking hard? I would argue the fact that you're willing to put in all this work and it's hard, now you just got to reframe and be like, we went through the hardest part of this relationship. Now we're honest even more. We've made it through the, now let's enjoy the part of the curve that we have not let ourselves enjoy. So you may be looking at this like, shit, I may be getting divorced. No, you may be getting ready for the next 5-year glow up in your relationship that you didn't even know was there. And you almost bailed on it 3 feet from gold.
1,000%. And how many people look at their spouse and are like, I mean, I've done it to you before, like, and I know you have to me. Like, I've seen it in your face where you're like, I fucking hate you right now, right? Like, there's been, we spend every minute together, right? There's got to be those moments. I know people that have fallen, they think they've fallen out of love and they think that they don't have anything else with their spouse, and it comes full circle and now they have a better relationship than they ever did, right? Like people, I think, get comfortable into that, like, oh, well, it's never going to work. This person is who he is, and this is what it is. Or
they don't trust. They don't trust themselves.
Exactly.
So they're not going to trust the other person. They've both lied to themselves for too long, and then that's why, like, you go through all these things anyway. Yep. You reinvent yourself. You're really making a new contract with yourself, right? Yep. And you've had enough. Why not try it with the person that you've married and had kids?
Yep.
I think there's also going to be relationships like us that on the surface, or maybe even not even like us, but relationships where everyone thinks it's fine.
Yeah.
And then it's not.
Where shit comes up. Totally.
Right? I remember that's how it was like after we got married. We were like, we're newlyweds and untouchable. And the next thing you know, I'm throwing a suitcase against the wall at a Tony Robbins event on the love day.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, where the hell did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
And some people are like, well, then why would I want to do that? I'm like, well, you want to bury that for another 10 years and then find out when you're fucking 60?
Yeah. You can't fully commit to this burning it down and letting that stuff go.
You got to get it all out.
It's going to affect how you move forward into the next 2 phases.
This is the detox.
Yes.
This is the reset.
It's a cleansing.
This is the cleansing. Yes. You got to get all that shit out.
Yep.
But then you also got to make sure that this contract is right. And you got to continue doing it, because whether it's 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, you got to go fucking do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it in a beautiful way and you do it fully, then your possibilities are limitless.
Mm-hmm.
Because now your vision and the possibility of what is out there
Yep.
is infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not held back by what you thought the limits of the relationship were and are.
Right.
And it really becomes this can't lose. I'm divinely guided and protected by the universe and God. I have my soul mate, my soul woman, and we have this soul contract.
Mm-hmm.
What can we now create?
Yep.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.
I do too.
So I guess that's the second phase, and we'll talk about that next.
The next episode. So we just talked about phase 1 of this method, burning it down to the ground. So this method that we've talked about comes in 3 phases, 3 major phases. So you have the burning it down, then you have the soul contract where you're literally creating this contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is integration time.
Real world integration.
Exactly. And looking at the next
and
10
all
years.
of the things that are going to challenge this, from outside people to outside
Right.
things and whatnot. But if you're trying to do this at home on your own, you have to be careful, because if you're not doing all 3 steps, then you could really screw this up. You could screw up your relationship.
Right.
Because this is the dark, this is the pit part. Like, this is the honesty, and we got to get through it. And you're going to break it all down, because we got to break down in order to break through. So if you do this without building that compelling future, that new soul contract that gets you excited, the thing that you are finally letting go of everything else in order to step into this, then you stopped it too quickly, and now you are left in pieces.
Yep.
So we have to make sure that it goes in order. So this phase 1 is burn it down.
Yep.
Strip it away. Phase 2 is build it back up. What now can we be? And then phase 3 is integration, right?
How are we integrating this? How are we looking at this? What does the future look like?
How do you live it? Because you're going to get to this raw, honest. We're going to get to this we're already raw and honest, but going through this process it's a transformation. And it's hard enough to do self-transformation. It's a whole nother game to do it with another human being. And now you're soul connected, you have your contract, and you are excited to take on the world. And then the world pushes back.
Yep.
Right. So integration. So all 3 phases are very important here. And so there's going to be opportunities to do these in coursework and, 8 to 12 weeks of coursework, in actual events when couples come to us and we bring them through all 3 phases, retreats.
So as we create this program, this method, we're going to take people along with us, right? Every step of the way, and really, really open the kimono and be like, here's what is going on.
You said to open the kimono like me, right?
I know.
I love it. Yeah. We're to the point where, like, how we're getting married, the trips we're going on, to break it down. Yeah. The whole experience they're going to be going through.
Yeah. So we're going to bring you in this whole experience. And in addition to that, while we're doing it ourselves, we're going to be creating these sacred containers that have these experiences, whether they're retreats, whether they're courses. So if our viewers, listeners are interested, we're going to have a wait list in our show notes. Fill it out and you will get all the updates as we go along.
I'm excited.
Same.
I can't wait. I'm excited to bring you all through it too, because we are gluttons for punishment here, wanting to experiencing this in real time, in real life, in front of all of you.
And shit's going to get real.
But that is why we are uniquely positioned to be able to bring other people through it. And so get ready for the ride.